G'day YouTube, Turbo Tristan here. In today's video, for the 7,364th time, we're gonna fit coilovers to a Civic on YouTube. Never been done before, but we do have the next generation max peating rod coilovers to go in there. We've also got Tom and his EG, and we're gonna dump this thing on its cheeks. So welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thanks for joining us again. Hope you're not sick of coilover install videos. As you know, we do work closely with Max Peating Rods, and they always hook us up with coilovers whenever we have a new project, and we love slamming cars. I've got Tom here. Tom and I work together.
There you go.
And Tom is the owner of this pretty schmicko EG Civic with a sunroof. And what we're going to do is give it a bit more handling and slam it down. Not too much. It's not going to be fully slammed, but it's going to be lower and it's going to handle better because it's got the original springs and shocks in there, which pretty clapped. So Tom, tell us how long you've owned the car for and what you'd use it for.
Daily driver. Had it for about 5 years. Just bought it. Came up cheap and just want to make it just OEM plus. Something a bit nice, tidy to drive around, and yeah. Turn some heads.
So what made you choose the Max Peating Rods coilovers?
Obviously being a daily driver, on a bit of a budget with it. Just best bang for buck for what they are, especially with the new revised one. Heard good things. I'm expecting a lot from them. And
what sort of plans do you have for the EG?
Just tidy. Keep it tidy. Maybe one day put something like K20 reliability, get some more punch out of it and just enjoy it. That's the main thing, drive it and enjoy it.
So what we're going to do is lower the car today. How low are you thinking about going? So it's stock now and it's got some, what are these, 16s?
Yeah, 16.
16-inch rims. How far down do you reckon that you want to go?
20, 30 mil.
20, 30 mil, so just a bit above the tyre?
Yeah.
And
just
all the way around?
Yeah, take up that gap and see how it goes.
All right, sick. So what we're going to do first is do a center of wheel to guard measurement, and I'll write that on the whiteboard, and that way we know where we started and we can drop it down 30 mil from there, and we'll use that as our guide to adjust it. So we're going to get it up in the air, pull the wheels off, rip the old suspension out. If you do want to know how to fit coilovers to your Civic, not only have I done about 10 or 15 videos on them, but there's about 38 million videos on YouTube about how to do it. I'm going to show you when we get halfway through how to do it properly and to set up the preload and how to tighten all the nuts and bolts, because that's something that everybody mucks up and they all just do it the bodgy backyard way. Luckily for us, I know a few suspension gurus. They're not me, but I know people that are suspension gurus, and they've taught me the proper way to do it and how to set the preload and how to save all the rubber bushings. So we'll cut back to that later on and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, it's back down on the ground. And this is the setting that the coilovers come already adjusted to. And as you can see, it is tucking rim, so we're gonna have to raise it up probably about a centimetre or two, or for you American folk, almost an inch, not quite. Maybe 97/100ths of an inch, or whatever you guys measure in. What do you reckon, Tom?
Looks good.
How much higher do you want to put it?
Yeah, I reckon you're about on the money.
About 2 cents?
20 mil or so, yeah.
What about the front? Front's not too bad.
Yeah, front's actually, yeah, that's really nice.
So the front still has 1 and a little bit finger gaps, which is about what you want, so you can still get over the speed bumps. This is a daily driver. So what we'll do is just take some center hub to guard measurements and just see how we need to adjust them on each corner. And obviously the back, we need to go up quite a bit. So I'll just check all of those. When I get it up in the air with the wheels off again, there's a bit of up and down when you're doing coilover installs. Because we took the measurements before, and we'll take them now, we know how much to adjust each corner by. So I'm gonna write all that down, get it done, and then I'll show you the tricks and tips to installing your suspension properly, setting the preload, and doing up the nuts on your lower control arm so you don't rip your bushes. All right, so as promised, I've done this a million times now, so I thought I would share some tips and tricks. Just under here, hopefully you can see, with all of these nuts and bolts, so you've got to put nuts on one side, put the bolt through. When you are tightening these up, there's a rubber bush inside here. Even if you have aftermarket Herctic alloy ones, you still have a rubber bush inside. What you need to do is jack this arm up so that the car's under its full weight, so it's sitting at ride height, even though it's, you know, either up in the air, or if it's on jack stands, put your jack under here and pump that up till the shock compresses. And what that'll do is, when you tighten the bolt up, that is at the angle here of the lower control arm. So this angle at ride height might be up here, and when you tighten the nut and bolt inside the bush will be at its resting position. If you were to tighten the bolt up through the bush here and then twisted the arm up under its own weight, it's actually going to twist the rubber inside here and cause that to tear and rip. So you'll clunk around and wear out your bushes and everything a lot faster. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen. What that means is you'll probably think, oh, my coilovers are making everything clunky. It's because you've ripped the bush in here. So be very careful about that on all three of these, and any sway bar rubbers or mounts as well. So over to the coil spring now, or the coilover and the spring seats and all the threads and all the pretty things that you like to look at when you're adjusting them. Now, I learnt this not that long ago, I'll be honest. Before, I used to just wind up the whole coilover adjustment from here and push the spring up, which would push the shock out and give me a higher or lower ride. So what you want to do is loosen off the bottom locking ring, and then if you're going up, you use the bottom ring here to wind up, and then these two will fight against each other and push the whole entire strut. So this body here will slide up and come out of these threads here. Now, if you want to drop your car lower, you go off the top one and push that down, and that'll actually screw down into the body. But you got to make sure that you wind up this bottom collar up as high as you want it. So if you want to go down 1 inch, you wind that up 1 inch and then screw this down until that matches there, and then you just do your measurement. If it's all sweet, tighten it up. The next thing I learnt about was preload, and some people hear that term and don't actually really know what it means. They think they're scientists or, you know, F1 engineers. What you really need to do is back off both of these nuts if it's not set. Now, most coilovers, including these ones, which we've found, are all preset and preloaded from the factory. But if they aren't, and if you've pulled them apart for whatever reason and put them back together, what you need to do is get the spring, push it all the way up to the top here, and then wind these locking collars up to meet the spring so that it doesn't jingle jangle around and rattle. And then from there, once it's tight and it's not going to go anywhere, but you know, it's still pretty loose and there's no tension on the spring, then you wind up the collar so that it moves about 5 millimeters, or just under 1/4 of an inch if you're a Yankee, and that'll give you the preload on your spring. Any more than that, and then you're sort of pushing the shock and the strut apart. You don't want that because the spring will actually stretch it out. You still want it to have the full travel and full movement and motion, but take a bit of the weight off everything once it's under tension. So that's how you get the preload. Make sure the spring's not loose, and then give that a little bit of tension around 3 to 5 millimeters, just so this starts to compress up. And that is everything that I've learnt of fitting coilovers to all cars and Hondas, Toyotas, and everything that I've done, BMWs, in the last couple of years. I've been flamed on the net for it, and I've learnt the hard way, but now I'm teaching you guys so you don't mess up. Over to set the ride height on the front, and then we're done. This coilover install, really quick, really simple. I'll show you what it looks like when it's back on the ground, and we'll get Tom's thoughts on it. Okay, so she's back on the ground. We've lifted up the rear. We'll get around there to have a look in a minute, but just wanted to show you guys Tom's EG. Now this one's actually got the VTEC engine. This one is a D16Y1. Do you know if this was converted or was it already in there?
Already in there, this is factory.
Factory. Yeah. So what do we got? We've got an EG5. Nice. These don't come up very often. They're usually the dirty breezes with the dual carb. But yeah, sick. Roof. Now this one's even got the sensors, luxury. But yeah, we've lifted the back up. It was down to there, so just giving a little bit of extra comfort. Make sure it's going to clear speed bumps and be, you know, 100 mil off the ground. So nice and legal. We've just stuck the timing light on it just to give it a little bit of TLC. It was out just a fraction, so now it's back in within spec now, and can get back to daily driving duties. Everything's been set up on the medium setting just because it is a daily driver, but I've shown Tom how to adjust those left and right, hard and soft, real simple. What do you reckon, mate?
Stoked, mate. Over the moon. Looks unreal. Can't wait to get out and give it a drive and just enjoy it. Love it.
Sick. All right, well, we're going to leave it there. That's it for this video. Don't forget to spool up, bring the boost, and we'll see you in the next one. Back onto VL content, and then we've got another build which is about to drop, so stay tuned for that. And just before he drives away, if anyone wants to grab themselves a set of those coilovers, link is in the description. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Cheers.